Yo, yo, yo! Ah!
If The Walking Dead was the grand slam to take the lead, The Wolf Among Us is the nuts-in-your-mouth home run right after, probably the second best Telltale game ever created. It's escaped the crack dar up to this point, but no longer. All this juicy, crack-headed material in the first episode left me salivating like a Discord mod, pinpointing a meme in general. So let's go smoke some crack off the perfect image of an incel's ass and play Telltale's Clue / The Wolf Among Us Part 1 on crack. If you enjoyed, check out some of my other crackery. As is tradition, let's go over all the episodes and make our predictions from the thumbnails. First episode, these two fine gentlemen are duking it out to see who gets sloppy seconds in this polyamorous relationship. Second episode is a professional Reddit mod who got big off crypto, getting seduced by a porn star for his money. Third episode, Big B gets drive-by ejaculated on and has to catch the perpetrators. Episode 4, I know you are, but what am I, leaving me enraged. In episode 5, the gravitational pull of my TCLR-induced massive genitalia pulls the moon before Groot can. We get the background lore. Fabletown is pretty much fairy tales becoming a real-life thing, and to protect the most at-risk fables, as they're called, namely the My Little Ponies from people like this, they put on glamour which masks their true appearance, and Sheriff Big B Wolf prevents anyone from Italianing and switching sides against us. Game starts and I'm in a porn taxi in New York looking to kickstart my career, but surprisingly, no women are willing to take a ride in exchange for being filmed for Pornhub's bestiality section. Shocking, I know. I get kicked out for my poor performance, throttling my Johnny Sins aspiration. $400 to the Bahamas? That's a tank of gas in Europe. Fuck Wolf Among Us. I'm going to become the Tand Among Us. I'll see you losers later. I get to a 3-foot toad who looks like his hobbies include abusing his family and wasting paychecks on the pub. I threaten to send him to an 8th grade science class if he doesn't buy some glamour and start looking human soon. A TV gets thrown out in the background, presumably due to someone finishing Fear the Walking Dead Season 7. God, that was terrible.
Waste trash!
As we hear someone going one-on-one with Blueface's girlfriend upstairs as I go to investigate, leaving Toad to unleash Niagara Falls from his salivary glands somehow in his hatred for me. I take my time, of course, no need to rush in as I pick up a matchbook, never knowing I'll have to burn evidence of my police brutality. Put the phone back into its position so no witness can hear me abusing my power, while I leave the woman to have the time of her life in an abusive relationship. I bust my way in, catching Keemstar in 4K Ultra HD, handing the proverbial unconsenting panties, running a cooking class, teaching a student exactly what assault really is. I hold him down while she spits on him as I'm looking to grassroots launch my porn career. I end up letting the woodsman know his breath smells like SpongeBob in that one episode and suggest he brush his teeth. However, his embarrassment compels him to pick up a shaving knife as a whip. What are you even gonna do with that? You're gonna light up my fade now? I, in turn, can't take the disrespect to my drip lying down, so I pin him against the bed and unleash my father's secret techniques on Keemstar. He tells me he's worried the 18-year-old he's dating is gonna get pregnant, so I give his balls some shock therapy, putting the swimmers to sleep, followed by himself. The woman isn't leaving until she gets paid for her getting railed. Unfortunately, though, it seems like the woodsman has already had his balls drained before he paid, a rookie mistake, leaving no incentive for him to honor the arrangement. The beating started after she told him he wasn't a base Sigma male for taking his life savings and putting them all in cumshot coin. I, however, realize that I'm a cop, and as long as I don't step on his neck, I can get away with murder, so I suplex him out of a window. I wake up on top of the toad scar, whose face says exactly what type of insurance he's got, but our conversation is cut short as the woodsman decides I look woman enough. As the woodsman starts strangling me, it seems he isn't part of that 13%, causing my jaundice to act up, and before I show him my new shark tail grills, the hooker caves his brain in and I watch as she robs his body, expecting hush money in return. Corruption doesn't come cheap, you know. Faith, the hooker, is disappointed as she finds out the woodsman's next week's meals are going to consist of one ramen packet rationed throughout the entire day, which isn't going to be good news to a pimp named Slickback. I was going to arrest her for her lack of robbery, but her blatant violations of the Geneva Suggestion make me fall for her.
I guess it's a good thing fables are hard to kill.
I catch up to her and give her a matchbook to speed up her lung cancer as I try to remember the lines from the How to Pick Up Girls search I did on Google this morning and ask her the first answer I got from that being what her occupation was, but her lips are sealed.
Hey, you like my ribbon?
Wonder if this obvious cry for help is going to play a part in the story. Her sexual services come cheap or expensive depending on how you look at it. I mean, a flight to the Bahamas is only $400, and while I have some money to help her,
I really wish I could help.
I tell her I need a statement, which she responds by saying she'll visit my apartment later, presumably to give me a free trial of her $100 product. Bewildered at my location potentially being doxxed, she lets me know that isn't the case and that everyone knows I'm a broke bitch, so broke in fact that my location is automatically doxxed. That's a double fister right there. I try to hold back the floodgates, but it proves a futile task.
You're not as bad as everyone says you are.
Yeah.
I'll see you around. Wolf.
That's the end of the intro as the obvious cigarette light into theme song begins, one of the greatest beats I've ever heard.
Who made this burger, dog? Who made this burger, man? I know y'all hear me. Hey, who made the burger? Jason and Mike back there. Jason, you killing it, man.
I get to the Woodlands luxury apartments and catch an informant for the All Cops Are Bad Facebook page, peeping for weaknesses on the grass. That has to be at least a misdemeanor. As I prepare to give her 20 to life for stepping on the front yard, she lets me know she doesn't respect my authority and to not tell Beast I saw her. Oh yeah, Beauty's cheating. I tell her I won't tell Beast she's getting Thanksgiving turkeyed by Prince Charming and go on my merry way. Well, it's nice to know that Paul Blart is on the case. No Orlando shooter is getting through with him on the job. As I'm making my way to the crib, I find myself in between a love struggle as Beast asks me if I saw Beauty. Knowing it's New York, I threaten to seize his Timbs if he doesn't fuck off, leaving him with little choice but to comply. I get home. Damn, I really live like this? This is a luxury apartment? I have an ice tray in the freezer, empty since I assume water's getting too expensive for Bigby, while the only consumable we have in the fridge is ketchup. Can't wash down cigarettes dry after all. I get to a giant pig whose house I blew down all those years ago couch surfing, and I tell him get off or I'll finish the job. Also, Colin is the best character in the game despite 4 or so total lines.
That for me?
Nope.
The house didn't blow itself down, Bigby. That's all I'm saying. Do with that what you will. Now, I'm not saying it's reason enough for me to have definitely been offered a drink, but, it would have helped ease some of the pain you once caused me, yes?
I tell him I was hungry and still am if he's thinking about getting fusion summoned with that ketchup I left, as he then proceeds to reverse the course of nature, roasting my ass to a crisp.
By being big and being bad. Don't say that shit in front of people. It's embarrassing.
As a reward for going goblin mode, I give him my drink, and I doze off before I get a knock on the door, waking up excitedly, penile urethra flopping about, getting ready to put more than my trust and faith. It's Snow. But before I can ask her if she wants a white Christmas, she tells me to follow her, and with her looking like her favorite series is getting a live-action Netflix adaptation, I know it's something serious. Under the security it's Faith. Someone left an object in her mouth very different than the one she was expecting, I'm sure, unless necrophilia is a thing for werewolves. It turns out a silver ring was attached to a ribbon. I've seen enough. I've come to the conclusion that she died from asphyxiation.
No need to thank me.
I conclude she was placed deliberately for us to find, meaning it's a declaration of war. My investigations conclude that the attacker needed a tampon midway through the murder mystery before making do with a piece of fabric, all while suffering some unexpected hemorrhoids on the escape.
What are you doing?
This is a thorough investigation, Miss White. I'm gonna need you to lift up your skirt. She asks me some stupid questions as if I'm the hint system in every Where's Waldo-based game and lets me know she's telling Crane to come to the business office at this hour. They're overworking my hairy ass. I better be paid in cold, hard gold for this overtime. As I'm making my way to work, Vanilla Ice calls me out for going to my job.
And what great work you do, Sheriff. That didn't feel very genuine.
I get to the 4chan r/robot nice guy, blaming Snow for his inabilities to find a mate, leaving him so angry he couldn't smell me coming somehow. With a nose that big, one whiff of expired milk might as well be mustard gas for this guy. After we come up with a plan for me to carry out, he can't find the bottle of wine Snow was meant to purchase, cause, you know, she had better things to do after finding a severed head on our doorstep. Which might have even been Crane for all we know. I mean, those sideburns are a lethal weapon at this point. Turn around a little too quickly and next thing you know, ISIS has sent their best offer. Gonna need to see a license for that there beard, so still can't do a British accent. I've had enough and decide to hit him with the white boy trub card until Snow saves my channel from being snapped out of existence. I ask why he's bringing wine to a massage. Apparently he's trying to substitute personality and looks for money. A worthwhile strategy, I hope. Anyways, Buffkin the monkey comes out with the elusive bottle of wine and it's between him and Colin for dummy mode this season.
Buffkin!
Hello, Miss Snow.
Drinking? This early? Where did you get that?
It was by Mr. Ichabod's desk.
Then don't you think it probably belongs to him?
Maybe.
Also, he's the only person who asks how my day was. Everyone up to this point wanted an organic sex toy to ride me for 80-hour work weeks or to let loose their sexual frustrations on. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna add Buffkin to my boy collection. We tell my boy to get the Book of Fables as I try my luck on a magic lamp before going to the mirror to observe my suspects. He, however, wants me to partake in the historied rituals and to rhyme my requests for him. Alright, fine, okay. Mirror, mirror, if you're able, make my biggest up disabled. Well, shit, apparently he can only show me different people, so I ask him to show me Buffkin, who's drinking on the job again. Can't blame him. He came in earlier than me. He's probably working as slave labor for $2.25 an hour, with the speed dial to ice on Crane's phone as blackmail. The woodsman is walking down the street after drinking his pain away, and then he asks for Snow for some reason, even though she's right in the room with me.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Nah, we gotta go bigger. Mirror, mirror, as you flicker, show me the biggest, thickest milkers. I decide to ask one more question to end off this round of CCP roleplay. Mirror, mirror, as in videos prior, show me the average TCLR subscriber. That's right, by leaving a like and subscribing, you too can become a cop with near limitless powers. That include bribes, engaging in corruption. Not only that, but you also have the ability to discover who was in Paris that fateful night, and two, more importantly, not miss out on future content. As Buffkin brings the books, I check out today's horoscope. I'm gonna get suckled by a villager. Suckle her so hard, in fact, her inflated titties will make her lose balance and fall out of a tower, and then give Julius Caesar a run for his money after killing the town's bustling bosom provider. As I'm looking through our childhood memories, I find the symbol on the ring we found and find the symbol on the other book because of my boy Buffkin.
Donkey skin.
Yes. What does it say?
Donkey skin girl, also known as donkey skin, also known as ass skin, prefers to go by the name Faith. Poetic?
Buffkin, we don't need the commentary.
Nah, I ain't having this. Buffkin, I love your commentary. Come work for me, I'll give you 2 bananas an hour. The story goes there was a king with a bombshell of a wife who on her deathbed made him promise he'll only marry the most beautiful women in the land. But after finding no one who could raise his Excalibur, this was before Viagra after all, he decided to play the field spell Alabama. She put on a donkey skin and escaped until she found a prince before living happily ever after until the ever after came and she started making anyone who had $100 in their back pocket feel like a prince themselves. The prince named Lawrence, her husband, she was ready for me to put that dog in her earlier today and she was doing all that with the husband. Damn, he must be packing that can of miniature sardines if she's willing to get railed by the wolf among us. Prostitution I can understand, I mean $20 is $20, but the only thing I was paying her for was that cab fare back home. The old king is dead and it seems like Prince Lawrence is playing tic-tac-toe on his wrists. Snow lets me know I'm not the only one who couldn't resist the allure of stalking before we head out to the prince's location. That is until we get a call from Mr. Toad. There's someone rummaging up in the woodsman's panty drawer before he's forced to cut the line short after a foreboding line. I open the door for Snow and with earlier stalking episode and Colin's comments, I can only assume Big B's ready to show her that dog in him. Here I have to make a choice. Do I go to Prince Lawrence or Toad's first? Toad's a tough toad. Let's go see if we can place bets on the prince's tic-tac-toe game before his biological batteries run out. I decide to boast my superiority to the cops and engage in home invasion right in front of them. Good thing Crane didn't come with us, else he'd be passed out by now and our esteemed prince is watching Judge Judy while being shot through the heart. I open the pull-up bed, inviting Miss Snow to observe how I make it snow, and we get a suicide note from the prince, who presumably caught Faith sneaking up to my apartment last night. With Snow staring right into his soul, Dory the fish wakes up in a panic, and as we let him back up, he explains that he thought he'd be dead by now. Big B remarks on his heart being a little bit more to the center.
Objection!
That is factually incorrect. Man quick-scoped his heart right in the left ventricle. There's no way he should have woken up from that. Snow asks him what he was thinking, and he said it's cause he's been a failure for doing something to her. Whatever that something was, we'll never find out, because he won't tell us, and Scooby-Doo and the gang aren't available for this case. Considering his failure to off himself, though, it seems like it's a genetic trait. I decide easing blows isn't in my repertoire and tell him his wife's been Lincoln, to which his depression grows larger, lamenting at Georgie. Well, I take everything I said last video back. That's the face I'd make if I got schlumped by a William. Getting Williamed might as well be an honorable discharge and compared to getting your switch flipped by Georgie. The IRS shows up at the door and me and Snow have to hide. She tells the prince to act dead since he already looks like he runs with Casper's Crips. He picks up the Glock, but I think nothing of it since it is America after all. The caricature of a man who unironically uses Milady walks in, and I have to be careful he doesn't whip out his katana, so I just observe for now. After getting a close-up to his record-breaking 43rd chin, I jump out to Lawrence about to off himself, but I get stuck. Somehow this obese greasy sleaze is faster than me and even jumps higher than— what are those hops? Has he put on a fat suit to get everyone to underestimate him? Eventually I track his dust prints and hit him with the WWE rope belly drum, although his sizable insulating material protects him from the worst of it. I ask him who's employing him, to which he says it's confidential, and I realize once again that I'm a cop, turning off my body cam footage
Going dark.
before taking him in to be tortured. And then his brother comes in with the French beret, giving me some of that thick fat smack pat. Snow, where were you? While I was getting my ribs kicked in, she was just documenting the entire event like a National Geographic journalist. After berating her skills on our way to Toad's house, I tell her how I abused my powers to attempt to murder Keemstar and that we'll be getting a call from Toad's lawyers later today. I get in just as Toad finishes whipping his son in an alcoholic fit of rage and tells me that it was all a false alarm and that the sounds and screaming I heard was just a rusty water pipe upstairs and that I should go home. I tell him I'll leave after he shows his hairline, to which he concedes, and Snow goes and does the important job of inspecting TJ's bug collection for foul play. Man tells me to mind the upholstery, which— come on, Toad, you got a busted lock, broken lamp, this shit is damper and dirtier than the pond you came from. Shitting on the walls would be considered a makeover at this rate. I notice a broken lamp despite the nearby electrical plug being occupied, and also some blood on the walls, to which he says he cut his hand. I find an octagon shape on the table, matching the one for the lamp, and catch him in his first lie. There's also a pole used to Gaddafi someone, and Toad says he dropped the makeshift selfie stick trying to take feet pics for money. You know what degenerate shit is on Rule 34. That is as valid a guess as any.
Holes and it slipped a bit. Sliced up in my foot like a seashell.
You dropped it on your foot? You told me before that you cut your hand.
Yeah, no, I did cut my...
Gotcha! I open the window and find some dust prints frog-shaped, and he says he had to break into his own house because he forgot the keys. To his broken door with a lock that's been busted for weeks, according to his own admission. Being 3 for 3 on the interrogation, I'm about to bust this case wide open as TJ comes in asking Snow for pickup tips, leading to Toad's fatal flaw being the hug though, and after getting caught attempting to fix his receding hairline, he gives us the defeated animation. He takes his hat off and tells us it's one of the Tweedle twins, the ones who assaulted a cop, before talking about what underwear they possess and then blaming me for not coming here first. That's fair, I guess. And he wanted to tell us, but, you know, the Tweedle threatened to sit on his son if he talked, limiting his options. And then TJ snitches on his pops.
Dad borrows things from people who live here. Sometimes.
We possess the fur for the good of the commune and find a letter, and after Toad's glorious commentary—
Now, of course there is. With my luck, it's a map to some bloody doubloons.
With my luck, it'll be a map to some bloody doubloons. I'm getting better. I really want to open it, but I can't do that to my guy after almost stealing his wife, so I decide finding Dory is the best call. Finally, we leave as Toad Jr. shows us those tips Snow gave him.
Nice talking to you, TJ.
Thanks. See ya.
Unbeknownst Rid. Love Toad Jr. Really wish he was in the game more. As we're leaving, Toad tells me to check the trip trap for the woodsman, since if he's snitching, he might as well get it all out of his system and reduce his prison sentence as much as possible. Snow's mad at me for apparently doing my job going to the woodsman in the trip trap next. Don't know what she thought detective work was. This isn't an episode of Blue's Clues, Snow. Me and Snow reminisce on our failures this episode, and she asks me who I think did it, to which I blame the pimp. About as easy as guess as any, I'd say. We both do the speak at the same time because we want to bang each other trope, and she cries at all the poor fables who try doing things legally unsuccessfully. But the corruption of our administration means only the rich men like Bluebeard who can buy their way to Congress proposals get any attention. Oh yes, woe is you. I'd normally arrest her on the spot for spilling everything, although I know better than to bite the hand that lets me abuse my privileges as a defender of justice. I tell Nancy Pelosi she'll fix it. Probably. After another year of 50% returns on her stock portfolio. After we make it to the hood, and to avoid the obvious vulnerable women with no support system hunter, we decide I take this alone. After a heartwarming goodbye, I make my way to the trip trap, a speakeasy where we have a transitioned Hun from the Purple Dragons.
This is some nice steel. How about telling me who gave them to you?
Yo mama.
And Vanilla Ice drinking his sorrows away. I tell the people who ate the system to give me the representation of the system, the woodsman they're harboring, which shockingly failed. After looking at her owner to figure out what to say next, the cougar thinks she got one up on me by telling me to fuck off. What a smug smile you got there. How those 5 fatherless children doing? Built like she needs that 5-pound makeup routine to look normal. Underneath it all, she's a bridge troll. Wink. I find a patron's cup that hasn't been dumped out for some reason, and after inquiring why,
If you want a cleaner place, feel free to get the fuck out of here. I'm sensing a very hostile tone from you. Don't deny it. I'm good at picking up on this stuff.
Let me solve the mystery for you. They're pickled eggs.
Oh, I know what they are. I'm just trying to figure out why anyone would eat this.
man's dropping Chris Rock numbers on the cougar and Vanilla Ice's head. If he's not careful, Will Smith's gonna come out of nowhere and slap his ass for being so based. I sit next to my best buddy and Han tells me to stop bothering her customers.
You know what I mean.
She's about to hit me with a revenge diss so disastrous it's gonna count as a 3rd-degree burn, so this is not for the weak-willed, of course. Anyone who has any past trauma, please click away from the video right now.
Give me a Midas Gold.
You want a lime?
No.
Well, I don't got any anyway.
Immediately proceeding that shockingly poor attempt at humor, the woodsman comes out. After letting them know they'll be getting life for aiding a suspect and that Eminem is better, Vanilla Ice can't have that last line leave unpunished. And he shows me that he can roll his eyes to the back of his head. Wow, congratulations, at least you beat Eminem at something. He confesses to everything. He was gonna rob her and got the nerve to do it too, but I'm not interested in his horrific fantasies, although it turns out my appearance saved Little Red Riding Hood a few doubloons that fateful night, so there's that, I guess. He only did it for the reward, though, and he didn't get none. Get shit on, Keemstar. I ask him if he killed the hooker he was abusing, and he gets spooked. Of course, him beating and threatening to kill the woman who showed up dead hours later might not exactly be 4K, although it is a close-up of security cam footage at the local 7-Eleven. Gren vouches for him as if his statement is going to be enough to stop my ultimate abuse of power. Gren heats things up and transforms into a frost troll drawing from the memory of a 4-year-old. She did need that makeup to cover her troll face. Good to know. He smacks me and I try fighting back. Oh, come on, that has to be passer interference at least. Where's the technical rep? I'm left with a relative comparison of fighting against my drunk dad with ineffective punches, followed by getting ragdolled by him across the room. After swinging me around like a post-birth abortion partaker. He got that dog in him. I turn the tables and just body him. He can't stop the pure physical strength I'm exuding as I unleash my police brutality to its fullest extent, giving him the Helen Keller makeover. Before using the classic take his breath away trick, I stab his shoulder, break his femur, and worst of all, tell him his 2D waifus wouldn't love him if they were real.
He's had enough.
Nah, you only face the hug if you lose, and so I tear his whole arm off. Don't think I forgot about that foul earlier. Give me that alcohol. Woodsman tries to sneak out and calls me out for my abuse of power, although I use the ironclad defense of he was reaching for a weapon. After all that, Tweedle bowling ball rolls in and I have to pick one person to catch. The giant muck-shaped Jello or Killer Keemstar. I decide I don't need the scoop today and catch Tweedle dumbass since from the magic mirror earlier, we saw that the woodsman was drunk, so I highly doubt he'd have the mental capabilities to kill Faith and throw her on our front porch like a scheming crime boss. Nor does he have the athleticism to jump the fence. Now you might be thinking Tammy over here might be too big for pole vaulting, but need I remind you his hops has him on track to represent America in the Summer Olympics for long jump. In the episode's final scene, I get to a police scene in front of the not so luxurious apartments, tie up the brother, and go to investigate. And that's episode 1. Let me know down below if you want me to continue this series, and as always, leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on future content, as well as if there's anything specific you want to see, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.